What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcasts. No, this is not a recording. This is really Justin, and I'm really here with Meelz. What's up, Meelz?
I'm doing fucking amazing. How are you?
You're the funniest motherfucker I know.
I'm turning it on. But shout out to everybody who listened last week to our best of episode. I'm not sure if you got a chance to listen to it.
I did.
Okay. I like that you did. Because sometimes we forget, right? I don't know if people know this. Like, we record shit and people tell me what I said. I was like, I said that shit.
Yeah, I pretty much like I record and then I just toss it.
Yeah, I don't think people realize, like, we do this and maybe do the C show and stuff like that. And then after that, I literally leave my house for multiple hours because I'm done talking for quite some time. Like, I'm done talking. But I'm glad that people tuned in because that was the most thing I was afraid of. I was like, okay, we don't have a brand new episode. We're both kind of busy last week. What's something that could be fun? Shout out to Dion, our social media manager. He floated a couple ideas. He was like, what if someone else took over the episode? And I was just like, I don't want to find someone on a short notice like that to have to carry the burden of whatever the fuck happened over the week. That doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because to be honest with you, it's probably better we didn't do it last week because now we have way more context with stuff that happened last week. But
we got takes for this week for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. But no, then I was like, okay, let me do the best of things. So it's like finding clips, going through history, not finding the most obvious ones. I didn't want to do make it make sense again. But I think I found great clips that summarize our time on the A Show over the last like 7 years, which unironically enough, 7-year anniversary was 2 days ago. I'm glad you said something.
Yeah. Listen,
thanks
man,
for forgetting. I didn't say anything either.
7 years ago, we embarked upon this journey, Meelz, and it has been such a delightful, fun, frustrating, but ultimately fulfilling journey to do the A Show and to be able to do it at a clip that we do it at every single week, every single week, every single year. It's crazy. There's motherfuckers that do season finales, Meelz, and we look at people who do like season finales for a wrestling show. Like, no disrespect, but it's just like, come on, man. We do this every week, even when there's nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, we find something to kind of call out of, and I think that's what I'm proud of the most is that we always have something to talk about, and our listeners, our fans, our patrons always have something to look forward to every single week from us. And I think that's amazing. It's great to have a podcast that's just this consistent and people don't recognize, and we say this all the time, it's very hard to do this and be consistent and be every week with it, and especially with our own lives. And I mean, I got married
Right.
in the 7 years that we've been doing this show. And I still find time to do it. And I'll, hopefully when I have kids too, I'll still be able to do this because I
Did you
love
meet
doing
your
it.
wife before you did the show or during the airing of the show?
During I've been in
You
2 to 3 serious relationships since I've had this show.
Wow. I've
Yeah.
only had 2 jobs, one extra niece, many so much things. I'm trying to think of like how transformative 2017 to now it was like,
Yeah.
God, like at least 5-7 different podcasts.
3 presidents almost.
3
As of
presidents.
next week.
Well, this is true. This is
3
fucking true.
presidents. Yeah.
Hopefully 3 different presidents.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, like, we'll get to that in a second because we'll
Yeah,
say something about this on the day and on the week before.
absolutely.
And I did
Sidebar:
this
if
on.
people are no, I want to say 7th anniversary. I know at this point we've made it tradition to kind of have merch. There will still be something. It's just not coming now, but it will happen in our 7th year of doing this show. Just
Yeah,
as a heads up for everybody.
I've seen it. We've been talking about it. It looks great. It is distinctly Meals. If I'll say so myself.
Wow, it is very original. It's something I've wanted to do for a very, very long time. Um,
It's
and
awesome.
I don't think any other podcast has ever thought or branded themselves in a way that we can do, or have a community as much as we do. Like, so shout out to the 7 years. Shout out to everyone who supported us for the last 7 years. Um, and yeah, we're gonna keep going.
Got to keep going. But I just said this, but I brought this up on Black Print. I want to bring this up on every platform that I have, but like it goes without saying, Mills, that next week is extremely crucial, and I don't think that there isn't anybody that we follow or that listens to the show that doesn't think that. But it's time to lock in, and I think that for everything that we've seen and everything that has been going on in the world for the past 4 years, 8 years, it's really time to lock in. And I'll say it right here. I'm endorsing the side of not fucking with a fascist. So yeah, that's where we going.
That's where we at. We stand on this motherfucking side, the side of unfascism. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? That's the side we at. So it's very important for people to get out there and rock the vote.
rock the
You
vote.
know what I'm saying? Make the voices, make your voices known. Smack down the vote. You know what I'm saying?
Smite down
Um,
the vote. You feel me?
Also, want to give another thing. I don't know if you've said this, um, but I wanted to make it clear. I actually wanted to make a video. I might do it on our social media too. So at the end of this month, which is, if you're listening to this, it'll be the 29th on Patreon, the 30th on for free. If you're subscribed to the Patreon, make sure that you're no longer subscribed via Apple, because Apple will be now charging an additional 30% on top of the Patreon fees if you subscribe to our Patreon or any other Patreon through the Apple Store. So please, if you haven't already, and we're just trying to save you money, we don't want you to pay any more than you had. Apple, we don't get whatever Apple's slicing their cut out of.
Yeah.
So if you look in your thing and suddenly it's like $13 or it's $26 or it's like even like $7, something has gone wrong. And it may be because you subscribe through Apple. So for all Patreon things, we fully recommend that you go to patreon.com/the A Show RNC. Um, you subscribe through the desktop website, and you'll still have access to all the Patreon stuff on the app and stuff like that. But we highly suggest that you subscribe through the Patreon website. If you're subscribed through Apple, please cancel that subscription at the end of this month. Move over to the Patreon website. Save yourself 30% of whatever fees that Apple is trying to grab from Patreon. And that's it.
Yeah, we stand on the side of saving y'all money as well.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? For as much as y'all give, we also want y'all to save. You know what I'm saying?
100%. But crazy 2 weeks in wrestling. I'm glad that we got a chance to kind of step away from it and look at the landscape for the past 14 days, because
Because last week would have been a different show if we had.
yeah, it would have been what the fuck's going on. But luckily we got some stuff to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, and not a lot of time. So let's get to, I mean, big news here. Samantha Irvin leaves WWE. She did this in, like, what was it, Friday?
No, it was
Last
like last Monday. It was
last
last Monday. It
Oh,
was
yeah, it was
right
last Monday,
before
'cause
Raw, because
yeah,
then they flew in Lillian.
last minute. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then
So,
what did she say? What did she flubbed up? Call them containers, or what the fuck did she
yeah,
say?
the number 1 containers, bruh. I said, first thing she do was botch. I said, "We are back."
We are back. I know they paid her a premium for that. Um,
100%.
but yeah, kind of like very, usually in this situation, or kind of like normally in this situation, you get a sense of like, oh, this is going to be my last show tonight. And they do the show, and we all clap, and she cries, and we all tell her how much we love her, and that is that. But she did it before the show. She was like, yo, actually, I'm
I'm
gone.
gone. Yeah, like, I'm out. Last week was my last week, and I'm gone. And not quite sure how that works. Maybe her contract lapsed. There had been no news on her contract even being almost up.
She
And I
said
think,
she quit. That's what I think she
oh,
like.
she said she quit.
Yeah,
Oh,
she quit. She was like, nah, I'm out.
but there's always that sense of confusion
Yeah.
like right when that happens. So what did you feel when you first saw it?
I was unconsolable, you know? As someone who is a big fan of hers, have always applauded her in every kind of like facet. I think she does an amazing job at what she did. Like, she made it have this big feel. Like, the soundtrack to Cody eventually finishing the story. Samantha Irvin is there both to introduce both competitors in the match and then also, that tearful thing. It was like the end of an anime kind of,
Yeah.
she brought a certain performance to it that I think we hadn't really seen with any announcers previous to that. And that's no slight to any of the announcers previously who were just legends in their own right, but I think she added her own performance to it that made it completely original and made the moment seem grander and bigger. So for that to be kind of like gone, it's like you think about the Gunthers, you think about the Chelsea Greens, you think about the Cody Rhodes, you think about the Roman Reigns, you think about the Bloodline, you think about all the soundtrack to that, and it's a little, it's different. I mean, they still gonna say their names,
Yeah.
but it's not the way that it was before. What were your kind of thoughts on that first kind of like couple moments after you found out?
I mean, obviously, I was with everyone. I was bummed, but I think that like through that though, Meals is like the bummedness through it all. We feel that, and then things kept happening in the week to follow. I
Right.
think that I was completely okay with it, and I was like, you know what, she wanted to do other things, but then
But
there's
it was the idea, shortly after she leave that okay, she was just gonna go to AEW with her man.
yeah, that was my
Which
first thought. Yeah, that was my first thought.
and to be fair, it's not that we're saying like, oh, because she's married to Ricochet. I mean, they're engaged, but it's not that she is gonna go run after him. But like, it could have been a situation of they're apart for too long. It could have been a situation of the travel. It could have been anything of the rather. So I assumed in all things in this kind of like landscape of the business that we are in, if you leave WWE, there's only one other place to go.
Yeah,
Um, but shortly after, Ricochet says, "Don't worry, guys, she's not going to AEW,"
Cap.
and everyone's like, "Cause we would have whooped your ass online," is what everyone said. I was like, "Damn, they really giving the beats to this bald, my bald friend." Um, but eventually, after a couple days, maybe she's chilling, maybe she's something. Samantha's back active. No longer is she the announcer that we knew. Now she is IWC Samantha. She's back online with it. She typing with it. She got time with it. And she said, broke on Instagram and Instagram comments, just responding to humble nigga 99.
Yeah, humble nigga 99 got the scoop.
Got the scoop. Shout out to that. She was
Humble.
like,
He was initially wasn't humble nigga. This is his name. Humble nigga was saying
we can
that
say it. Other podcasts may not. Um,
he was saying that basically, she's just going
Imagine
there.
Alvarez. Alvarez is like, and we look at the comments and just a commenter.
There's humble nigga.
Humble, get the name, Dave. Well, you got to believe that nigga,
Oh, there's a
Um,
humble nigga. I mean, nigga is a mark, and a mark is a humble nigga. So I mean, but I think that again, what she did online drastically changed the feeling that we had. And let's just be clear, right? I don't care ultimately that she quit or wanted to do something else, or that is completely her prerogative, Mills. Like that's completely on her. The issue is that like, and I think that Edge went through this. I think that Ricochet went through this too. You don't have to explain anything to anyone about your decision to leave a company. I think that what happened when she started to explain this is that she started saying things that to me kind of walked all over the moment in a lot of ways. So when she was talking to the guy, humble nigga, his name, she basically said straight up, Mills, I didn't like announcing.
and I was like, damn, that's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. I don't want people to think because I had a tweet about it, and everyone on my metro was like, "She can't quit a job. What do you mean?" And I'm just like, first of all, nothing in my tweet said she can't quit a job or she wasn't talented or any of that. My tweet was, it takes away from the feeling of these moments a little bit from me that she never liked what she did.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, again, still her prerogative that
Yeah.
she wants to do that. No one, from what I understood or what I saw, was mad about that. I'm pretty sure there were some freakazoids that were.
No, there was. I mean, people were mad because people have always thought Samantha was a fraud.
Right.
People have thought that
And
you do
and
too much.
to be fair, prove them right. I'm sorry. Prove them right. Prove them
In a
right.
sense, yeah, in a sense. Like, I mean, she's ultimately, I think she still loves wrestling, right? So that's the passionate part about it. The passion points is even during these situations, she gets teared up or she gets emotional. She tries to put their things in it, and it's the passion that's kind of like flowing through. But it's also the fact of like, I guess more so as like she's doing a job and she's like, I'm just gonna do it really, really well. But the fact that she didn't like announcing was like, it was low key a bummer for me. Like, and I'm saying for no one else. I'm not speaking for anyone else. I'm not speaking for all the millions of people online. I'm not speaking for like Fed guys and all this other all elite guy. I'm speaking for myself. That bummed me out. I was like, oh damn, that's kind of crazy. Michael Buffer was giving her. Michael Buffer was like, she's one of the best in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of niggas come through, but I've never seen one like Samantha Irvin. He ain't say that. Don't
But
quote him on that.
but
Don't quote me on that.
I think it was the rampant, well, I think of myself as a performer and I wasn't gonna get the opportunity to do that, so I left and I wanted to be a she came in wanting to be talent basically, and she ended up being an announcer, and
She thought that
we
was a way to like hustle in, like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like kind of like get in. I can at least be in the system, and then we can kind of like figure out something afterwards. Which I mean, I don't think is a necessarily a bad plan, but when WWE set on you doing a job,
you're gonna do the
that is
job.
that is your job.
Yeah,
You know,
and I think that like I feel I feel frustration. I think we've all been through a situation where we wanted to do more than what we were given, and so we decided to go elsewhere. And I think that that's her again. That is fine. You know what I mean? I think that is okay for her to have wanted and expected more from her tenure there. But where I get kind of confused at it is like one on the fan side is like you don't have to do a job that you don't wanna do. You know what I mean? Like, you can
you sure the fuck don't.
you could completely leave if you don't want that. But
I know that for sure.
where it comes down to it is just like, kinda how the structure works at WWE. There's been very few, like, ring announcers that kinda become talent. And, like, don't you kinda like, Mills, don't you kinda know that, like, that's not happening after a while? Like, that's where I was
Es-
confused at.
Especially if you damn fucking good at your job. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Especially if you making everyone look good. At first on NXT, she started low key as a backstage interviewer.
yeah,
There's several things. The first episode of NXT 2.0, she's interviewing Carmelo and thing in the ring, which might have. I mean, you might be able to get a working gimmick match out of that if you have something. But even as much as fucking Bailey hated Kayla Braxton ain't taking no Bailey to belly. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But it's it's very weird. It's very hard. I don't say weird to get that transition because you have to prove so many things that just isn't in the realm of announcing.
right.
Like you just have to, you know, you have to be cast as. I've seen wrestlers become announcers, yes, and I think that's the easy pathway because speaking is involved. But I think when you go to the management side, I think it's like from the wrestling standpoint, everyone was like, was she trying to book herself into
Yeah.
a spot? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
Like
it's like, no, but it's like it's also like the way that it's coming off does seem very, very like very like kind of like I, don't- I and again we are looking at it from typing. We don't know the full story. I all honestly feel like she's still only telling us half of the story here. Like, Or what happened? Like, did she
I
go to
don't want to know the
management?
other half because
Me either. I know too. That's another thing. I know too much.
I
Y'all
know
talk
too
too much.
much. Yeah, because this is kind of the not like an announcing thing already kind of like ruined everything for me. The next step that we all know from doing this podcast for 7 years
Yep.
is whatever backstage grievances that she had.
Yes.
Whatever thing she didn't feel. I talked to Triple H one day and he said, get back to the booth. You know what I'm saying? Something along those lines. Like, it's good. It's going to be one of those. And I don't really want to hear anything about it. I think I would have like, I respect that she left though. I respect if you're not really passionate about something, if there's something you don't really want to do, if your heart's not truly into it, and there's so much commitment with it, with hours, with vocal training, with flights, with all these other things. She's taken away from her family. She has a daughter. She's with Ricochet, who also has his own family as well, and I'm sure they all co-parent and all this other stuff like that. But it takes a lot of commitment, and realistically, if you don't want to do it, and if you're in a financial situation where you don't have to do it, don't do it. I,
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, I ain't gonna blame you.
it's also like my husband a millionaire. I don't got to do this. I'm like, okay, shit. Like,
But she also saying is like, you think my husband took less money to be in AEW than WWE? And I was like, all right, you going to IWC. You don't need to be
yeah,
talking about
bro.
his finances.
Like we get okay, all right, shit, we get it. Like again, it's the. Even if she had to explain it, like, and she got the right to do that too. But it's like, we don't like. I don't gotta fuck with the. I don't like announcing. I hated it type shit. It's just like, damn, like
Yeah.
it's like
I
Michael
think
Jordan
it's
saying, "I hated basketball, bro." Like,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But also like I get why she decided to do it because she didn't want everyone was beating up Ricochet. I mean, people have done that since before she pretty much left. But um everyone was like blaming him for her leaving because she is beloved. And I think she knows that she's beloved, but I don't know if she truly knows. Low key, I think Ricochet was beloved too. Like, I don't think people wanted Ricochet to leave WWE either. And their whole situation, why people are kind of like over it, is because he's in AEW and doesn't really seem to be working in that other direction. But
I think
her,
people are upset about the Ricochet thing because, like you said, he's seemingly not doing anything, but he
yeah,
also went online right after he did it and started defending why he did it and getting mad at people who said they weren't gonna watch him.
yeah, yeah, no,
Like
I
that
could
is
see it.
that is absolutely a piece of it, and then she turns around and does the same thing, and it's like then she's like, "Oh, I was at Collision, and all people ever did for Ricochet was call him a jobber and say stint catering," and I'm just like, whomst said this about
Yeah,
Ricochet?"
I mean they probably saying it now, but
You're saying it
um
now? I don't remember that
I
being like a
know I don't.
conversation.
It definitely wasn't the conversation then. It might have been like we wish he could be used more, or like the most negative thing is that he can't talk. Like that's really it. But realistically, no one's ever disputing the skills and talent of Ricochet. But and it's the same with her. But you know what? They doing whatever they doing. She living her great hot tub life. Um, I'm sure we'll see her again. If I had to guess, we'll see her again. If I
Yeah.
had to guess where we'll see her again,
Well,
not in WWE.
here's the thing, like, do you think that she would, like, succeed as an on-screen persona, like, with what you've seen
um,
from her online? Because I feel like that's
I
pretty much what it would be.
So I think her level of commitment with what she did with announcing, and if she can carry that same level of commitment to being a personality on screen, I think she can do it. If she really, really puts the work into it, as if she puts the work into all the other things that she does. So I think she could do it. She wasn't a bad speaker, like on the bump or anything, or all the stuff. But she seems like a pretty good, and she's passionate about wrestling, which is another key thing. Like she's before she was an announcer, she was online, just like I don't want to say like us, but like I mean, I guess like us, like me. Um, but she was online too. She's a big fan of wrestling. You look at her old tweets. She has Shin on Apollo and New Day and all the other people. Um, so she gets it. So I think she could if she really, really wanted to. In AEW, I think she could succeed because the bar is very low for um, being good at that kind of thing in AEW.
Yeah, bar is long AEW in general. So
Yeah, it's just they don't really know what they're doing. But shout out to Samantha Irvin. I don't know if she want to become a podcaster or something. Maybe she could do that.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't fucking want to hear the podcast interview. But if you do, more power to you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Like
I'll,
that.
I'll,
That's on
I'll tell
you.
her. I'll tell her pull up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I would love to ask her about all of the things, if possible, bro. Like, I would love to ask about
We'll
those
see.
things.
We'll see what happens. If
Um, WrestleMania tickets went on sale last week.
they sure the fuck did.
Uh, People are not happy. I got to take. I got to take.
Talk about it. It's not. You're not gonna have a Ted DiBiase take, are you?
What's that mean?
You know exactly what it means.
What's that mean?
Ted DiBiase. It sound like broke. And no, WrestleMania tickets, like any tickets to any entertainment sporting thing, are extremely high. But I think the nature that it's in Vegas, the tickets. Let me see what the ticket. What's Ticketmaster saying right now? People were not happy. I mean, I think or at least like I don't know about WrestleMania at them prices. And what's funny? I just read a report that Taylor Swift.
She
What
said
if they?
no. She said no to dynamic pricing. She said, "Fuck that."
Yeah. She said, listen, I support my people and my people support me. And we're not doing that dynamic pricing shit. And I was like, what? Shout out to Taylor. She's doing the right things at the right times. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm looking at it. Let's see, 2 tickets. Well, the cheapest is $840 currently. And
Not
that's
for
a lot.
one person. Not for one person, or
That's for
oh,
2 people. Let me see how it is for one person.
probably 400, 400, 500.
Nah,
No, 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah, I
Pretty much that. Like these upper balcony joints are. Good lord, I don't know, man. Ticketmaster's broken, bro. Like there's seats available, but they're $900. Thing like, and don't get me wrong. Here's how I see this, right? Because I've learned this from um, what artists do with fans of their project. You know what time of the year the shit is coming around.
yeah.
If you're gonna go, save as much money as humanly possible. Use whatever check, whatever thing, stimulus.
But here's
Maybe skip a couple months on your college loans and shit.
my thing. I'm skipping that anyway. Here's my thing.
Kamala got you.
Even if she don't got me, they ain't had me for 10 years.
Obama got me.
He said, "I paid
Trump
my
got
loan."
me.
He said, "I paid my student." I said,
Biden
"Really?"
got me. They all
He
got me at this point.
said, "I paid my student loan." I said, "Damn, for real? That's crazy." Anyway, what was I about to say? No, here's my thing, right?
Sure.
Here's my thing. You're right in that we know things are coming around, right?
Yeah.
But you like shows are a very premium experience now. They're
Mm,
like going to concerts are very premium. They are literally for the diehard of the diehards. Like you're
yes.
not going to a show just on a whim anymore. That just doesn't happen. That used to happen. It used to happen, Mills. It doesn't happen anymore because you can't. It just doesn't happen that way. Like it is a. I hate to say this. Like concerts are a first world thing.
Mm,
Whether you're either in or you're out. It is a very first world thing. You're in or you're out. You don't really, that's you're not gonna get away from it. But also in the same breath, you can't talk about and espouse about how hot WWE is and then be like, well, why can't they make the tickets cheaper? Because they are in high demand. That's how the shit works.
yeah.
I hate to be mean about it, but that's really how it works. Like they're in
I think
high
you're being realistic about it. I don't think you're being mean.
they're in high
Mean would
demand.
be mean would be if you did a Ted DiBiase promo.
Like it's a very high demand product, very high demand people that are going to be there. It's the biggest show of their calendar year. You
Shit,
better
man.
believe it's going to have Super Bowl pricing. You better believe it.
Look,
But
they had niggas had Lil Uzi, Meek Mill,
yeah,
all types of niggas is gonna be there.
yeah, everyone is going to be there, and you're going to want to be there yourself. So like, I get that. Like, so that's one aspect of what's going on here, right? However, and this is a bigger thing too. People got to be better at planning this shit out.
Mm,
I kn you know it's not here's the thing, it's gonna quote unquote "sell out" on the day, but you already know the resale market, if you do resale shit, you know the market is very volatile.
yeah,
Your people are essentially buying this without knowing the main event yet. So when it comes around January tax time and people haven't sold these tickets or they haven't flipped them yet, because that's really who bought all the tickets. They haven't flipped them, they're gonna come down again. So wait until around January, February, anytime before Royal Rumble, before we know what the main event is, and
right.
then you try again.
I mean, they
You
gonna be there.
They're going to be there. They're not going anywhere. And the secondary market is real. It might not be your favorite, but like you will find seats. It will not sell out until April. Okay. So if you know that, get your room right, get your flights right, get your itinerary correct. And then with that money that you're not buying on the tickets day fucking one, you do all the rest of the stuff. Now I know also people that will be doing like the on location 2-day pass, all that stuff. Like that also works as well. That honestly, that to me, I know a lot of people that have done the on location 2-day. They actually it's like the 4-day thing now because they go from like Thursday to Monday. So they go
Hmm.
from every Hall of Fame, Raw, SmackDown, WrestleMania, all of that stuff. Like that's also a thing, but it's like it's also something you could have saved up for. But also it's fucking Vegas meals. Like you already know it's gonna be more expensive than Philly was, and it's gonna be more expensive than LA was. And LA was pretty fucking expensive, guys. Like it really
As
was.
someone who's working on something with Vegas right now,
It's
yes,
expensive.
it's fucking expensive.
It's an expensive place to be at, and I think that like once you know those things, you'll be able to kind of go through and have a better time. But again,
But you're getting yeah, like you said, you're getting promised a premium experience. You go to WrestleMania, you're going to access. There's signings, there's
yeah,
events, there's perform. At this point, I low key think this year they might enact halftime performances or like some performance that happens in the middle of the show each day.
it's a
Because
big deal.
yeah,
It is an extremely big deal. I think people they're treating it as such, and that's what it is. But here's the thing: they ain't pricing it like that because they don't know if anyone's gonna buy it. People are buying it. Like, and I'm trying to say
because
this. I'm trying to say this and as nicely as
it's
possible.
a tough time. It's a tough time for everybody.
Yeah, it is a tough time, but it's like, but if you can't do it, don't don't try. Like, don't trip about it. Like, you'll be
It's
able to
still a
still watch.
fire experience at home. You
Yeah,
know.
like it really is. But I know my black ass gonna be there. So yeah.
Well, absolutely. And it won't be cold this year, hopefully. Um, but yeah, do what you can with the WrestleMania tickets. You know what I'm saying? Um, I was joking. I was like, damn, that wrestling cup gonna have to start selling drugs, man. They
Not
gonna
that
get,
deep. Come on.
they. I mean, we raise money, but we ain't raising Vegas money. I tell you that. Um, next up, what's next on the docket?
Undertaker. Uh there is something patently. I haven't. There's a TikTok. I don't know if I sent it to you about somebody. There was like like somebody on TikTok saying like, listen, like Undertaker is stupid. Like basically that was the whole thing. Of just like we didn't. But the thing is that we didn't know Undertaker was that stupid. But he's like
Right,
really stupid. And like his podcast with Donald Trump did more to harm him than it helped Donald Trump. Which is fair to say, right?
right. Because I don't know anyone. It's not like fucking Shannon Sharp. Undertaker ain't no fucking Shannon Sharp. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
what real platform is he getting by going on Undertaker's podcast? Um, but it definitely did a lot more harm to Undertaker and Kane. Kane couldn't wait. Kane flew out. Kane was a munching, glazing. He was, you know, big glaze machine over there, bro.
Right, bro.
He's
He dick right him more than he dick right Kane.
yeah. Yo, he brought out his daughter. for a conversation about women in sports because they still talking about how that boxer was a man, and I was just like, what are we? What are you doing here? You work with other. I was just like, bruh, Undertaker, L's in the chat for that motherfucker. Prayer hands upside down.
But
Get with God, bro.
not only is he a dick rider, right? And let me tell you this right now, he's out of my top 10.
Oh yeah,
He's out of my top
nah,
10.
he's not there anymore. No.
He's out of my top 10. But listen,
I got room now.
not only is he a dick rider, right? Huge dick rider, all right? One of the biggest. That was like Trump terms.
Yeah,
One of the biggest dick riders ever.
she's a big dick. Um, of the biggest. But go ahead.
One of the biggest dick riders ever. I'm telling you, billions and billions. But more than that, him being so concerned about trans women athletes. Are you okay, bro? Like
That's
that's
what I'm like, bro. What are
are you,
you
are
talking
you good?
about?
Are you fucking good, bro? Like, why are you so worried about trans? Like literally, like Meals. There are only I've seen information on this. There are literally only like 10, 15 trans athletes. Period in the world. Period. Period. That's like in America. That's literally like basically you don't exist. Like literally,
Exactly. It's like
like
half of a 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 half of
exactly.
a half of a half of a percent.
And it goes to what I was speaking about earlier in the show. We like these men worried about women's bodies. Are y'all good? Are
Niggas
y'all
is weird,
good?
bro.
For
Niggas is
real. Like,
weird,
you're a weirdo, bro. Like, what's wrong with you, bro?
bruh. They put the whole stink on New York City. I don't know if you know, but we lost that World Series game. I'm blaming it because they put the whole stink on the city.
Dog. Listen, y'all not a ban or a couple weeks for y'all. I'll say that. I'll say that.
Definitely not. I'm like, come on, man. MSG is what we lost last night, but it is what it is.
Not a banner week for New York right now. I would have more slander, but I'm a changed man. I'm a man of God. But
I appreciate that.
um, listen, it goes to the deeper issue of like where does wrestling like stand? You know what I'm saying? Like where do they
With
stand? Do we want to
politics and
know?
all this other stuff,
Yeah, like
usually they've strayed so far away from it that it's not even on the radar. And if they do anything, it's within parody or just like, or they'll do like Smackdown your vote and try to get people to vote. Like people want WWE to use their platform to register voters or something along those lines. Like they've done that before, but typically they stay away from politics in the last like at least decade and
that's
change.
that's why it's so weird that someone that's so respected, like well, actually, maybe it's not
But you'll
weird.
see, you know what's so weird though? You'll see more WWE personalities be supporting Republicans more than you'll see the WWE personalities supporting like, Democrats. Like we'll see Undertaker with, Trump or like the McMahon family with Trump, but we never see like Bianca with Joe Biden or with Kamala or anything of the like that's not
Yeah.
it's kind of it's never balanced in that way, and it always seems like it's frowned upon if it's going to happen. Like you open yourself to a amount of hate, but like I don't know. I guess because Republicans are very like
I think it would be
flagrant with
very
it.
I think it would be very, very crazy if we saw one of them say vote for Kamala or something like that. But I think the reality is, Mills, is that so many of the people that we watch do not support, uh liberal or democratic or left leaning things. Like we could pretty much like kind of guess who does. Like I feel like it's crazy that like Sammy can't really talk about his views
Yeah,
on Gaza and
but Hulk
Palestine.
Hogan can come out and try to attempt to tear his shirt off for the 8 million time for this
Exactly.
motherfucker.
And I think that like and the thing with Undertaker is that like it's not going to take much for him to come back and get cheered because like he's not appearing in front of crowds as that person that we
Yeah,
saw on that podcast. He's
yeah.
appearing as that character. And I think that's why he largely kind of skates past it. Now Hulk Hogan, he appears in that character everywhere. So like he
Also,
wears
we
it.
know he's a racist, so it's
Yeah,
like
like he wears it like a bag, like the bag that his skin is made out of. But like it's so weird that wrestlers get to skirt past this because of the characters that they play. Like they
right.
literally play. It's like Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Like it absolves him from anything because he's just allowed to just put the character on and say, "Hey, I'm Tony Stark again." You know what I mean? And it doesn't work. But like I think that like
Jaleel White could probably punch a lady in the face and be like, "You mean Urkel?"
yeah, Exactly.
Circles
Like
of that shit.
it is very they're blessed to be able
Yes.
to do that. At least to the public that, no politics in my sports, like those types of people. But like I do see and I do like and I do appreciate the people that are calling him out for that rightfully and are saying like that's fucked up. We thought we loved you and you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love to see, like you said, more parody, more wrestlers being allowed to say what they feel about certain stuff. But like
Well, not all wrestlers. You know what I'm saying?
well,
I'm
you know
just
what? I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be selfish. Wrestlers, they say shit that I believe in. They believe in
sure.
shit I believe in. If you don't
I
say
want to.
it,
I want to hear some niggas that say some shit I believe in. Exactly.
yes, like I would love to see that. Like Bianca,
Because
where's
we get
the
too much of the other niggas who feel like they need to say something, like it's in their
yeah,
DNA and shit. Like, come
bunch
on,
of fucking Cutler and
Drake
whatever the
works
other
and shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
Drake Works and all them other niggas. Like I don't want to hear what the Forgotten Sons got to say about anything anymore, bro.
yeah,
Like,
man. Come on, let me hear what niggas want to say. Two strong women. Let me see what Jade and Bianca. Listen, Jade and Bianca pose a Kamala. I'm going up for it. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
but it will also help. It will
Yeah,
also help, bro. Like it would help it would help people who again care about women's rights. This
yeah.
motherfucker Undertaker is worried about, well, does she have a dick? Like that's all he cares about, bro. Like dog, that made me feel like, you know what, take you might be, you know what I'm saying? You might be hiding some shit. You know what I mean? Like, Tay, what's up? You hiding
You
some
know,
shit.
it's gonna come to the light no matter what.
It's gonna
We gonna
come to the
figure that
light,
out.
nigga. I know you hiding some shit. It's all
Yeah.
right. To you want to get tombstone for real, huh? Weird ass nigga. I hate this nigga, bro.
I
Let's
hate
get
him
on.
too.
Let's stop talking about this nigga, man. Moving on. NXT Halloween Havoc was on Sunday. Their latest PLE was live from Hershey, PA. It featured many matches, but honestly, I'll be real. It felt like a TV. It felt like an episode of the TV to me.
I'm
It,
gonna
it
give
was
it a
definitely
buck.
it was definitely as long as one.
It definitely was. So I was out. Shout out to Manny. He got us. Me, Eve Armand went to go see the Brooklyn Nets home opener. We were
Cha-ching.
sweeted up. um, Shout out to the Sweets. Shout out to Brooklyn Nets for actually winning. They beat the Bucks and Giannis and shit. Whole team. Bucks are cooked. But
Good.
um so we had fun with doing that. Um I came home to watch the show and I was like, I think after the women's tag team match, I low-key kind of like checked out
Mhm.
because that to me felt like the match with like the most star power in it, low-key. Because Julia and Stephanie Vaquer looked like they just looked amazing
Well,
in
I
that
I
match.
I hear you on that, but it was a while before we saw, like I would have actually even loved Fraxium on that because I feel like the crowd loves them. They're like huge stars on the show, and it was actually odd that they weren't on this show. Also, like
I think so as well.
it was strange that they weren't on the show. I liked large parts of the show. The opener was incredible. I
I
thought
thought the opener was great.
I think Tony D, you got it, bud. You're the man.
You the man. I don't know if it's gonna translate on the main roster, but
Something
it
will.
probably could. It probably could, but it probably could. But it seems like the rest of the family would have to come too.
Yeesh. Well, I watched Luca wrestle on NXT last week. He was pretty good too.
I
They
mean,
all
they not bad. They not any worse than some of the niggas who are there.
exactly, yeah. Like they were
They're not any least interesting than some of the tag teams that are already there. You know what I'm saying? So we'll talk about tag teams a little bit because we got some stuff. It's a prediction show. This whole show is free, so we gonna get into it. I forgot it was a prediction show in the rundown, but no, it was. I thought Tony D Obafemi was great. There've been rumors about Obafemi and whether he will be moving to the main roster. You know, certain accounts uh
man. Shout
tweeting.
out shout out to AEW Mole
Shout
because
out to the shout
he
out to
got
the
him shook
mole.
right now. He got him shook right now.
It was like, hey man, I'm just a private account. What y'all mad at?
Why are they so mad? Why are they so mad at AEW? Listen, y'all spread misinformation all the time. What's a little lie? What's a little lie between friends?
You know what I'm saying? I follow. Um, but no, I mean it'll be interesting to see if Obafemi eventually gets moved up. But if he's not, I'm assuming he won't. Um, but I enjoy Obafemi and Tony D. So yeah, they're great. Don't want to do too much because I know the War Report will do a lot of the heavy lifting on this. Um, but what were your kind of like highlights of the highlights of the show?
High level thoughts. I think my highest level thought of highest thoughts. There's two. I got two high level thoughts here. One
Okay.
of them, I really wish good things upon Ethan Page. I think
Okay.
I think that in terms of just a singular talent, he has done everything in his power to elevate Trick Williams in a way that I felt that like, and I know Carmelo did as well, but I feel like this was stronger to me because I just feel like this has been just rightfully just a better situation for him
Yeah, yeah,
between that. Like I think Ethan, you could rightfully say, is one of his biggest rivals, and I think
yeah.
that a lot of what he's done has worked in that sense, and it has really elevated Trick. And I think that I wasn't a huge fan of the main event. I will say this, it looked because it felt like they weren't trying to hurt Trick, if that makes
Mm.
sense. Like they were like, well, don't do too much because we don't want you to get hurt. It felt like one of the most like, I don't know if it was intentional or unintentional, but like one of the most like safe hardcore matches I've ever seen in my life. Like they were
No,
not.
I've seen it. Yeah, I think it's weird because it didn't have the intensity of the match that it probably should have.
I thought someone was gonna
Um,
bleed
yeah, I
when he was
thought it
talking.
it should have gotten to that level, and it hasn't gotten to this level, and it's probably the last match you're gonna have. Um, but I low key I put that on Trick a bit
Okay.
because the the inexperience of him, I don't think he fully knows how to rise to the moment um that you're building to. I think he sees a lot of things in relation to Trick Williams, and this isn't necessarily bad. He's a star nonetheless, so it is
Yeah.
what it is. But I think with these kind of situations, you look at like, for instance, you see the difference between this feud, which went quite a bit, and then like Punk and Drew. And I know that Punk and Drew are like two professionals, but when the moment is here for that Hell in a Cell, for that big blow off match, you're going to rise to that occasion. You have to put the extra oomph in it.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't think either of these guys, maybe it was because of design or something, really put any extra oomph in this. Um,
And I gotta say, like, this is gonna sound blasphemous almost. Trick really does remind me of like old John Cena, just in terms of like we are seeing him build this his move list in front of
yeah,
us. Like
yeah.
we're seeing him build this move list literally in front of us, and
No, you're
like
right. Yeah,
it's very telling to see like how they
you can
position
see the
him.
inexperience in a little bit of the things as well too, like
Yeah,
with John Cena.
it was very Christian versus Cena to me with him and Ethan. Like it was very.
You know what? That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good comparison.
Thank you. Like it was very much like they're gonna carry each other through. But I just wanted to give my props to Ethan Page. Like I don't want to see no complaints about him in this brand because anything he's doing to me, in my opinion, is a charity at this point because he's ready to go to main roster right now.
I don't know what he would do, to be honest with you. I mean, unless like feud with LA Knight or something, but I don't really know what he would do.
Easy, Seth.
Oh,
Seth.
yeah. If they do
Uh,
Seth, yeah, they could do
he,
Seth.
he could do Seth.
Punk.
He could Punk. He could do Braun Breaker. He could do in like he would be such a great foil for a babyface Braun Breaker.
But I think so much of that he's still relatively new to the WWE audience that I don't know if they'd put him in that spot immediately. I think it would take a couple weeks before they eventually put that. I think he would be out there in the back harassing people or something, or trying to sign. You know what they did with Jade for like 8 months when they were like, which roster will she sign to? And she was just backstage like yamming it up with people and shit. I think that's what they might do with Ethan. But no, he's absolutely ready. Um,
My
What's your other
second
high level thought? Yeah.
My second high level thought. Uh,
And now Ridge is getting in the picture too, by the way. So
oh yeah, Ridge is in the picture, but I'm not. I'm
God
not.
bless
I'm
that
not.
match. If it was Ridge versus Strick, oh Lord.
Oh yeah, I know. But Ridge again is another guy that can work. Also, I wanna break. I wanna break for just a second because this is insane. But it looks like Young Thug might be getting out today.
What? On the
Yeah,
seventh anniversary of the A show?
please. They're doing the please right now.
Okay.
They're doing the please.
Let
States
him out
dismissing him.
today.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of pleas, multiple plea deals. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted as we do this. But I'm
Of
saying this because
course.
this, this is
Thug
history.
watch.
But but my second one is Mills. How do I say this without sounding crazy? Stephanie Vaquer is insanely good to a point where I really hope and pray that she does not overshadow uh
Julia?
Julia. But I also feel as though with that, I have to say that like this is reminding me of Finn Balor and Hideo Itami
That's what
female version.
this is what I've been saying. I mean, I hope Julia don't get injured and don't become washed or anything like that. Because I think they're both stars in their own right. And I this is like the ideal version of that, right? Like both of them still maintain their star power and hopefully one doesn't fall back after an injury. But this is like you're getting two major cornerstones of a women division right there in front of your eyes. Now, one of them will turn heel in the next 365 days, for sure. Um, I don't think you can have both of them as these big. Oh, they're coming for me now. Um,
It's the
but
Joshi fans.
I know, right? This is Joshi's, but they look so like this match was so good, and Stephanie getting the pinfall on Roxanne put her in a position for this title match. Um, I just thought it was good business, and I thought they got some real good stars there. So yeah, I was a bit, this was the highlight of the pay per view for me, low key.
It really was. These two work well together. I want to say too, Cora Jade s- looked like looked like money there. She looked good. She looked good. Better than she looked before she left. I'll say that
Mm,
much.
I'll say
Roxanne didn't
that.
re- Roxanne didn't do much, but again, it was a tag match. It was kind of like a showcase for the two new women.
Hmm.
Stephanie Vaquer, keep an eye on her, man. Really keep an eye on her. I think that she is poised to become probably one of the best workers in the company. She's already one of the best workers in NXT off two matches. Just from how fluid she is. I think Julia is fantastic, but I think there's a level of fluidity that Steph just gets, which is crazy because she hasn't really worked like American TV that long. But
Hmm.
she gets it, and she was on point with everything she was doing. So like those are my top two. Is that Stephanie Becker is on that rocks level already for me, and Ethan Page deserves all his flowers this year.
I agree. I agree. It was a decent showing from the pay per view. I watched it after I got back from the game. Um, it was cool that the kind of like last couple matches between the Trick Williams Ethan Page match and that Gauntlet match that I didn't really ask for. Um, that kind of like took me out of it, but the beginning was very very hot. So shout out to them. Um, Speaking of NXT and the PC,
Yeah,
listen,
they're mad about
Brandon,
this one.
they met, and I knew, you know what? The second I s- this could be a good thing, but the second I knew that it got on the internet, I was like, oh, they're gonna shit on this because they're gonna feel like they're monopolizing the wrestling industry. And so we're talking about the WWEID initiative that they have just launched. Well, I'm sure they launched it already, but it was announced today. And WWEID is essentially WWE's helping, funnel talent from independent wrestling schools, not wrestling companies, wrestling schools, um, in order to continue like the flow of like not only just talent from NIL deals and sports and athletes and stuff, but like get in actual independent wrestlers people who are passionate about wrestling. And I thought this was a great idea. They've kind of already have been doing this for years, no lie. Um, because WWE is
Without an official standing, they've been doing it. Yeah.
yeah, they've had Evolve, they've done a couple other places where it's like um they have a great relationship with them, and they've always had a great relationship. Triple H has always had a great relationship with the Indies. Before Street Profits were NXT Tag Team Champions, they were Evolve Tag Team Champions. They want to continue to make the industry healthy despite, all the stuff that they do to take it off. Anyway, it's led to people questioning um, all types of things. Oh, they're monopolizing the business. Oh, this is bad for the indies. Oh, these are a bunch of industry plants that are going to come in. And I'm like, what?
Nigga. What do you mean? Like again, there is this there is this highly huge narrative or commentary around protecting, right? Like protecting and truly appreciating or protecting the sanctity of what wrestling is. And it's like, you know, territory system has been dead for over 50 years now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like there you ain't protecting that no more. And as much as you want to say the indies were so much like the territories, they're not. They're very much their own and have always been their own kind of self-contained thing, right? And so, to you know, when WWE announces this WWE ID thing, it's like, oh well, their wrestlers aren't going to lose on other promotions. I'm like, well, there have been NXT wrestlers and people losing, in fucking Pro Wrestling Noah, and you know what I'm saying, and elsewhere all year. So
niggas
it's like
lost on
none of that.
TNA the other day.
Yeah, Sean sends the ladies over there all the time to lose. You know what I mean? So it's not really a thing, but it's like there is a need or a desire to protect something that does not need to be protected anymore.
Right.
How else is the business going to survive without trying to grow it in some way, shape, or form? It will not survive, right? Like it has to have some sort of growth or some sort of lasting pool to go to in order for it to survive. Now, if you're mad about WWE wanting to be the only business in the game, they're not exactly doing that. AEW still exists. If they wanted to do this deal, they could have done this deal. They do not seem personally interested in developing anything. If they want to do a farm system in New Japan Pro Wrestling, they could do that. They don't do it. They won't do it. So what are they going to get mad because they do it? I bet you
Yeah,
they
to
won't. I bet you
me,
they won't.
no, I bet you they do get mad. I'm almost sure AEW and Tony Khan takes this as a shot at them. And I'm sure it'll craft it around that of how this is actually bad for the business that WWE is taking a hold of now, the indies, and then it'll become like a kind of a civil war. It's like these indies are the people that you need to think for AEW, and these will be for WWE. Like I see it all right there. I already saw it with the fucking Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling Jam. Um, where they're heavily involved. I think they're heavily involved with AEW based on TNA's now relationship with WWE, and it's kind of like a tit for tat thing. And I can continue to see it grow. It's like the Noah shit with WWE, but New Japan with AEW. I see this continuing to kind of like low key segment off. But again, these are wrestling schools. These are not wrestling. They're not saying like we are thinking the talent for these promotions. These are for the wrestling schools, and they're gonna probably go out. They would wrestle their own matches wherever they wrestle their matches, and just know that they have a pipeline to WWE.
Yeah.
Where the school that they come from has a pipeline to WWE. So it's like Nightmare Factory isn't putting on fucking shows. It's not like they're stealing all the Nightmare Factory talent. You know what I'm saying? It might be one or two people that go, and everyone else is still going to be like, yo, I wrestle for the Nightmare Factory, and, you know, they don't have AEW Dark anymore, but they're wrestling on some random indie show in the middle of Nantucket or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's not any. Honestly, this is nothing to be upset about, nor anything to like be clutching your pearls over either. I think that it's like, all right, well, it's like some wrestlers are gonna get paid, and some wrestlers are gonna probably have access to the PC. What's the big deal? Like, who gives a shit, right? Like, who could care this much about something that does not affect you at all? Like, it does not affect you in the least bit to just fucking show some love to people that are able to do this. So, I mean, shout out to everybody that's gonna take this opportunity. I think it's super cool. And it grows the farm system even more. I think that again, we'll be able to not only see people who have a bigger athletic background kind of succeed, but we'll also be able to see people who are from the indies work with these people and help each other out. I think that what's going to be great for people like Julia and Steph Vaquero to come in is that they're going to help the Tatum Paxleys. They're going to help the Thea Hales. They're going to help all those people because Meals, like, whether you believe it or not, or whether you see it or not, like there's a lot of people online that like don't want these girls to survive or don't want these guys to survive because they didn't grow up loving the business, and I think that's crazy.
Yeah, it's we've gone so far, of course, from what this is supposed to be about. If you love wrestling, whatever. If you didn't even grow up with wrestling, it's also whatever. If you're down to be in the business, you're passionate, you're great at what you do, you find a way to make it work. Either these people are gonna, everyone, no one's getting into. I mean, some people just get into wrestle, but everyone would hope one day to either reach WWE or AEW, and this is just a way to kind of like help them get there. They said WWID will give fans the opportunity to follow the paths of these standout prospects on the independent scene through curated behind-the-scenes content, as well as highlights and matches showcased across the WWE social platforms. So this will definitely give people, at least put them on the map, at least give them some shine, and people will be able to see their matches and then see their growth and follow these talent and stuff like that. And maybe because of that, they now buy a ticket to an independent show that this wrestler is going to be at. And this is how we do it. You know what I'm saying? But like, y'all weird, bro.
Being haters, stop being haters. And yeah, I think that's all the big news
Yeah.
that we've seen so far. You want to do Raw, SmackDown really quick?
Yes, let's do Raw and SmackDown really quick. SmackDown was a good show. I'm not sure what Raw was.
SmackDown was a I'm sorry. And you know what? There's a lot of people that feel me on this too. So I don't feel totally crazy. Like 2 hour Raw is whack.
Yeah, 2 hours Raw is whack.
They don't have the roster to do that. They
For
do not
people
have the
only
roster.
for people who think we only think AEW is whack, we think everything that is whack is whack. Um, but yeah, nah, they don't have the roster for Raw. It's a that shit was weird.
Bro, it feels like they're rushing everything, bro. It feels like they're rushing every single thing. That ending, I guess we'll just talk about Raw here because it does connect to the larger Bloodline story that I guess we'll start on SmackDown and the Randy
Yeah.
Orton stuff. But like, again, you have a moment where Dom beats Damian Priest, and one is supposed to be, getting his heat back, and one is supposed to be kind of basking in that moment that he pinned a former world champion, that being Dom Mysterio. And they ended the match. So honestly, Mills, they were too good because they ended that match like 4 minutes before 10. So it
Yeah.
was like they actually did a great job, but it was like they were like, "Oh shit, I guess we got to add more story to this because y'all ended early because you did the right thing." But it ended up having a weird ass ending to Raw where he just beat everybody's ass and then nobody did anything and Finn didn't come out. Like, it was so fucking weird. There's moments that I feel like could have breathed more like Miz attempting to save himself from the Wyatt family, and an
Yeah.
actual like, kind of compelling little story with him and Karrion Cross right now. Like, it's
Yeah.
actually kind of cool, and it's given no grace. However, we needed to have that long ass tag team triple threat match. I'm just like, well, this could have been saved for something else. Honestly, it didn't need to happen last night if
Right.
it was
It
if
needs
it
a
wasn't
themed episode. We need a theme episode.
like winter is coming. Like
Yeah,
just
or
kind of
something. We need something to just make Raw feel important again. Because yeah, this Raw is. It's clear that I mean the biggest star on the show is Seth currently, but
Mhm.
Drew is still missing. Punk is still missing. People are kind of like on and off whether they'll be on the show or not. Um, this we had fucking Zelina versus Ivy Nile, so that means we couldn't get fucking an EO match or something along those
Yeah,
lines. Like
exactly.
it's a it's
It feels like we're watching like a 2 hour main event with story implications.
yeah.
Like,
My idea would have been like what I would have done was I don't know. You can't really like cut the roster. I mean, you cut the roster essentially over the course of 2 weeks. So people who will be on the show this week will not be on the show next week for sure
Right.
because
Right.
you got to get everybody burned. So I don't know. We get a Sheamus versus Ludwig match this week. I'm sure neither of them will be seen next week.
I mean, Butch shows up, so I'm like, are you gonna beef with R-Truth
Yeah,
now?
are you
Like
still there?
what are you what's this what's gonna happen here? Like I
Braun
don't
Breaker,
know.
big win. Can't really follow up on it because you're supposed to do other things of the show. Now it's a Judgment Day week, so you got to have a Judgment Day week, and next week will be a Braun week or something along those lines. So, but
I'll say the Finn stuff does interest me because it looks like they're further gonna I'm gonna say kill off, but they're further gonna, I guess, do something with that team now, right? Like they're like
well,
looks like Judgment Day isn't long for this world.
Finn is toxic.
Yeah,
That's
I
what they're
mean
showing.
he looks like he's a hater though. He's a real hater. I'm a
He's a
hater
big
like you.
ape.
Fuck my wrist, nigga.
Well,
Uh,
let's go to the Superior show.
Smackdown, again, they're
Taped
cooking.
in
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
taped in Brooklyn. They're cooking with gas. I think the Cody Gunther stuff has been incredibly effectual. I
Only
have
thing I didn't like was the Andrade Carmelo thing. I was like, all right,
it,
they gotta
I,
put
I
him.
I chalk that up to honestly. I chalk that up to just time. Like they just don't have time to do a lot of shit anymore. Like they
I didn't like Game 7 ending
well
in the
they're
way it ended.
are they turning LA? That seems to be what they're trying to do here because you
I just
can't.
think he's a prick.
That was more than like how he's been a prick before. You got to admit, like that was just
But
like you actively because it seemed like he doesn't want to face either of them. That's what the implication was to me from that what he did.
right, but I think also both of them beat him up before.
No,
You sure? I feel like someone definitely they hauled off on him at some point
Carmelo
backstage.
did. Carmelo did, but backstage it was Andrade and him. They had the thing with the handshake. Carmelo
Yeah,
actually did. Remember Carmelo knocked him out and sent him over a box.
yeah,
Like
I remember that.
he flew over a fucking box, like, that did happen, but, like, it hasn't been, like, any crazy smoke like that between him and Andrade, but, like, if your idea is you wanna make Andrade, firmly the babyface here, which I think is a good idea,
Hmm.
then I think that you need to stand on really turning LA to do that. I do think that his run as a babyface has, uh, kinda come to an end. It's very hard for him to stay babyface very long because it'll come to a point where he's gonna face somebody that, like, he's gonna be less popular than, but the biggest challenge is, like, how do you make these fans hate him? Because they
Put him against Solo, man. But they not ready to nuke Solo yet.
yeah, exactly, exactly, like, so I don't know,
You could end
I
up
thought
fighting KO or some shit. I don't know, whatever, nigga.
I thought the KO Randy Triple H stuff was good too, like, I thought that it was
Triple H said, "I
incredibly
never get to talk to you because you always show up to work late."
it was
Um,
incredibly effectual because 'cause you're wondering why Triple H is trying to protect people or protect KO, and it's hard to read into it any other way than that.
I don't know. It seems like I could buy him having like a low key thing for KO. He helped him win the Universal Championship match years ago. He probably and he knows that Randy Orton's a nut. He knows that KO's a nut. But it was good. It was an effective way to build up to a match. I think they announced it perfectly. Um, I thought
Do you think KO is leaving?
I mean, I can't tell from right now. This storyline is good and has the implications to being a write off, but then also maybe could continue. If he continues, I think he gets in his Drew McIntyre bag where it becomes something where we didn't expect this to be as good as it was. Like low key, you're probably expecting Cody versus Randy for Mania. If he's as good as he is, he could end up a triple threat at Mania. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So I think um, I can't really tell right now, but if something definitive is announced, um, then likely if Saturday night's main event is a loser leaves town match, then maybe I can't tell right now.
I I honestly think
I think he should stay, but
I
I
think
could
he's
see
gonna
if
get the
he
title.
goes too. To be honest with you,
I think he's gonna get the title. I do. I really do.
maybe at Mania.
No, I think he's gonna get it earlier than that. I think he'll get the title like either next month or December. They're holding off on that rematch. That rematch is happening.
So what? So Cody goes into WrestleMania. We're gonna talk about this in another week. I do want to talk about a WrestleMania thing this week, but it's I could see a bunch of different things, but I'm gonna say no for right now on leaving. Um, but I can't really tell right now. Uh,
Also on SmackDown, you had a lot of story stuff, and I want to talk to you about just the way that the story stuff kind of is playing out, and especially as it pertains to what we're going to talk about on Crown Jewel in just a second here. The Bloodline stuff is as slow and drawn out as they have made it. I am very thankful that they are not doing that with this storyline right now. Like the story is actually moving and going places, and I'm thankful for it because we are very used to the bloodline story being such melodrama week to week, and then this week they were like, nah, we're just gonna just give you what you want. And I think that's pretty cool. But we had a lot of moving parts happen here. Obviously we weren't here last week, but Jay Uso lost the Intercontinental title to Braun Breaker last week, and because of the bloodlines
Niggas was
interference.
weird about that too. I was like, bro, what?
Why? For what?
Because they were like, why did he have to lose the title? And I'm like, we're telling us this was never really his. They did it for the moment. I don't think they ever anticipated Jey Uso being a fighting champion contender for with the Intercontinental Championship. At least not right now. But people were very upset
And
about
also
Jey
because
Uso
like
losing the title.
and also because the story as it stood at that point is you needed a spark to get him to come back to help his brother. Like you needed to have that happen to show that this bloodline was a threat to all of them. Unless I'm like, are y'all like misreading or not seeing the fucking tea leaves in the story right now?
No, it's there. I think what people like to do is they like to take their favorite talent and then just like forget about everything else that's attached to this thing. Is like, why did Jay have to lose? And it's like, because they were like, you could have done the story with the Intercontinental Championship, but then I'm like, then you lose a major part of Raw by not having an Intercontinental Champion kind of like really active on the show, focus on this plot line. The bloodline is the most important thing. It is top priority. We don't need Jey Uso really having side storylines during this to kind of like distract from the fact of anything. Um, it was for the moment. It helped lead to another moment, which is now leading to this moment that we got on Friday.
Yeah, and what we got on Friday was a lot of things. I said this a couple weeks ago on the show. I was like, I feel like Motor City Machine Guns might win the tag team titles, and that's why they pushed everybody out the way because of the way that they were presenting these guys and the way that they presented these two from the moment they came in was that they were a big deal, but also was that they were veterans and that they knew what to do with these titles. And I think that it's a way that they came in and they got right to it. They were beating the top teams on the show, but also because they just provide a breath of fresh air for this division on SmackDown. That it just makes sense to just go ahead and give it to give them the hot hand and have them face off against these teams. So they won their qualifying matches against the teams the week before. I think they beat the Legato the week before. Then they faced off against DIY in a really good match on SmackDown, which led for the Bloodline to come out and challenge him to a match tonight. And I said, "Oh, buddy." They're definitely winning these titles at this point because they never do no shit like this, and they also love to give New York a special moment to have people go home happy. They have like a quick little 5 minute match with the Bloodline, which leads to Jay coming out, interfering in the match, and helping the Motor City Machine Guns win the titles. What I did love about that two meals, if this was any other company, they would have just kind of put every segment on top of each other. Here, they allowed the machine guns to have their celebratory moment. And I thought that was actually kind of cool too. Like they had their moment, they got their pomp and circumstance, they got their fireworks, and then you lead to that other moment because people think that it's not going to happen. But what really happens is Jimmy comes out, Jay comes out, they embrace one of the biggest pops of the year, I got to say.
Man, that was a scary 448 days of them being apart. I
But
was like,
you gotta appreciate the restraint that they had to not put these two back together like immediately after WrestleMania.
It could have been longer, but I'm not even mad at this. I'm not mad at all.
400 days isn't long enough. The fact that it was
Nigga,
400 days is crazy.
nigga, that was last year they were teaming.
Bro, the Dudleys weren't even split up that long.
The Dudleys is not talented. There was never a Jey Uso in the Dudleys. It was
What
Bubba
are you
Ray,
talking about? You're
Big
talking about the
Dancing.
split. You're talking about the split, not the star power here. I thought you were talking about the split, not the star power.
I mean, I think you can keep them away. I think if Jey Uso wasn't Jey Uso, they might be back together sooner. But the
But
mere fact that
he was always
right,
popping.
right. So they do this, but I think it was a great moment. Again, like you said, one of the best moments of the year. Um, again, people are critiquing this, completely ignoring the fact that they're brothers. The shit, like, this is some. Jay has never said that he hated his brother. Um,
which is
if, if
which
Vince was booking, he would have said it for sure.
but he, to your point, he never said that, which to that point, it made his promo on Monday more effective because he never said, you know what I'm saying? He never said any of those things about his brother. He just didn't want to be part of that regime.
Yeah, he didn't want to deal with this anymore. And I think one of the great things he said on Monday Night Raw was, "We're not coming back to be the Usos for the bloodline. I'm Jimmy Uso. I mean, I'm Jey Uso. You're Jey Uso. We're the Usos." And we're like, he didn't want to be under Roman's thumb again. He was like, we are our own men in this situation. I think that's a great thing because it shows that not only, it shows that there's difference and there's been growth and people learning, and there's more ebbs to this story than that. And I think Roman is going to have to come to terms that they're their own men too. They're not just his um his kind of like his fodder, what they did before. They're their own men, so he's going to have to treat them differently, especially if they choose to reunite. But Jay isn't as high on reuniting with Roman right now as Jimmy would like him to be.
Yeah. And I think that what worked to me ultimately was that they're doing this out of free will. And I think
Yeah,
that again, it goes into Roman's character change is that he's not you're not that guy no more in terms of just like holding all the power. So you got to be with the people again. And I think that's where he needs to, that's where they got to get to. But I love the look of Roman when he came out and saw them embracing. I love because the big thing here is now it's Jay, but I mean on Raw, it's also Sammy that Roman has to kind of. Those are the two people he wronged the most, and we'll
Sammy
see.
gonna get
But
his ass whooped if he decides to do anything.
exactly, but it's like, uh, it was weird the way that they taped and announced this. I know they had to announce it very fast because there's no telling how many people are going to watch SmackDown on Friday, but they announced it during Raw.
I
Strangely,
mean, SmackDown held up pretty well against that Game One World Series. It
it
actually
did.
held up really, really well in terms of numbers. But I'm assuming yes, they want to make sure that people are tuning in.
Because I mean there's a crazy week next week and there's no telling who's going to be tuning into anything that they do next week, so they got to get all this stuff out now, but it's going to be Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the new bloodline, and that's all, a some mixture of three of the four of them at Crown Jewel. So I'm guessing we're going to get a segment that leads into this match, but I'm from what I heard from people in New York, they cut that promo that we're going to see on Friday as if the match was already announced. So there were a couple people that were confused that now that
Mm,
promo makes sense to them because they were cutting it as if that match was announced already.
gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
so that will be the match, and I guess we could go ahead and go into into Crown Jewel here, and we can start with this match because I'm gonna go off on a limb and say that I don't think Roman's main eventing this show just based off of what's the most push thing that's on the show being the Gunther versus Cody match.
Yeah, you probably open it. You know,
Yeah, I'll probably open the
you know how
show.
Roman do.
Roman in the middle of the show would be crazy, but
Yeah, not
seven
Roman. Seven
seven
matches.
match card. Saudi Prince paid for the two more matches.
He
So
says, "Eat a dick, guys." He got seven.
um listen, looks like a strong show on paper. I got this looks like the
They
best
got
Crown
what they
Jewel.
paid for. They paid the premium too. You know what I'm saying?
They ain't pay the Mania prices, but they pay something.
Yeah.
Um, Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the Bloodline. Where are we going here? Like they're severely outnumbered. If I was to guess, it's probably going to be the Tamas, the Tongas, and the Jacob. Uh, Actually, Solo usually always
Nah,
matches, huh?
if Jacob Fatu is not in the match, they are for sure losing. There's no doubt in my mind that they are losing. If Jacob Fatu is in the match, there may be a possibility that they win, but overall, I'm choosing Roman Reigns and the Usos to win this match.
Here's my thing: they already won last month or earlier this month.
I think it's Roman though.
I know, but he don't gotta take the pin. Jimmy is there to take the pin, to be honest with you. He came back losing. He's there to take the pin.
I guess, yeah, they probably would lose actually. It's
'Cause they
probably a
already
4 on
won.
1, the 4 advantage. They're gonna be like, we need another nigga. We can't do this with just the three of us. We're not at full bloodline power or something along those
Yeah,
lines.
and if the story is that Sammy gets his big moment, and by God, does he deserve that big moment, for holding it down like he did, then I think you go ahead and have them lose here because Roman has one more person he has to make amends for. But again, there's a kind of a three-way story here with Sammy, with Roman, and with Jay now, who's kind of like, what the fuck's going on with Sammy?
Sammy best not show up on the show and team up with the Usos, or else he will end up in a parking lot, crouched over, getting his ass whooped by his man who's also on the show. So you need to chill out.
Yeah.
Handle that shit on Mondays.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we're seeing a really cool, kind of outcome here come out with Sammy and everything going on. But I think what's really
You're
cool
not
about
family though. They said to Sammy. It's like, you're not family.
crazy because he was family, but I think you gotta have the wise man come back and make things right because
I
Roman's
think
not good at doing this by himself.
my thing is that the thing with Sammy not being family is hockey. He's not family, but I think that wasn't from the standpoint of like, you're not with us. It kind of was, but it's from the point of like, you wouldn't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the people who think that this is a stupid idea online is like, you don't understand that they are family. You
Yeah,
know, like, they're going to break up and then make up again and all this other stuff like that. And everyone goes through situations and they find their ways right back to each other. I mean, nigga, how many times has KO beat this man's ass and he take him back and shit?
yeah,
So
yeah. And again, it's gonna make that war games all the more effectual when they're all their full power. I think we just want to see how it happens. And but yeah, you got Roman, I got the OG or the new bloodline winning this.
I might go OG, but I might go new bloodline just for the fact that they don't have 4 people.
Listen, man, babyface Roman gotta lose some matches. Like it's time
I
for him
mean,
to
he
start giving.
lost a couple. Didn't he lose something recently?
Oh,
Oh,
he's only lost one time this year.
yeah, well, it
I
was a
thought
big
they were gonna
loss.
lose. I thought they were gonna lose the bad blood match, and they did it.
Oh,
He
well,
gotta he gotta start giving back. He like my it's my that's my thing. He gotta start giving back
hey
ultimately.
man, he be getting his ass whooped on the end of SmackDown. He was like, I give him enough, bro.
In a match, just like he said in his little documentary, I can't be for nothing.
Hey
Someone
man,
has to get elevated for this.
Stone Cold never.
This nigga is shut the hell up. We go to the next match. Jay Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Damage Control versus Meta 4 versus Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. I want to stand up and applaud Meta 4. I think that if y'all gonna do something with these ladies, it's time for them to take them off NXT. They ain't even on the show no more. They on the main roster more than they are on
They
NXT
wasn't
now.
doing nothing there anyway. They was just hanging out with Oro and fucking
I
calling
think
niggas creeps and shit.
I think the Noam Dar injury really accelerated plans for all of them, and it's unfortunate, but it
I
might.
don't think they had any plans. I
I
think the
no
Noam Dar
Noam
thing was the
Noam was the
plan.
Noam was the trick thing. Noam was definitely going to
He
be the
was gonna
one.
be with Trick. Yeah, he was gonna do something with Trick. But the fact that they have nothing to do on the show And if I had to guess, probably Bianca and Jade also vouching for them to do something. Like now they've been presented with this opportunity, and I think what they've done over the last number of weeks is take advantage of the opportunity. Um, and yeah, I'm with you on the idea that like, yo, they should be called up. Like let's put the ink to paper. You know, quite frankly, I was gonna say probably on Raw. Raw needs a little bit more color than SmackDown does.
Mhm.
Um, but
Raw
you know,
Raw is suffering, and I don't know how they just don't have a Brinks truck parked outside of, the Colby residence every single day to get her to come back because they're she's severely needed. Dakota Kai needs to hurry up and get back. Asuka needs to hurry up and get back. They are missing the star power that they have. It's just not there right now.
yeah, for sure.
Like it's I'm not saying it's dire, but like you look at that show every single week, and it's like it's Liv and Rio in like month 7 of trying to make this thing happen,
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, like, be, and to their credit, we'll talk about them in a second, but it's like, to their credit, people are still reacting to it. Like you can't say that the fans aren't reacting to this feud every week. I know people online, are very upset about it, but it's like, yeah, I'm tired of it too. But like I said last year, like they wouldn't keep doing it if people weren't reacting to it. Like they're definitely moving forward in some way, shape, or form. But also, I'm glad to see that Dom's moving on to do his own thing, right? But
yeah,
like,
very true.
they're hurting. They're really hurting right now on the women's side on Raw in a way that SmackDown isn't. But they're bringing all the teams together for this Fatal 4-Way tag match. I think the question here is, what whoever wins, what do you think, or how do you think, things are going to happen in the future will determine who wins this match. It's like, is Jade and Bianca, are they finally going to go off and do their own thing? Will Io and finally go back to being a singles person, or what? Because there's two legit tag teams in this match, and that's Metaphor and Chelsea Green and Piper, who I could honestly, realistically see with these titles.
First of all, I think Jade and Bianca are retaining. That's just first things first. Um, Second, it's been a strong couple weeks for this division. So I can't even say anything wrong. They've been doing it on every damn show. NXT, SmackDown, Raw, everybody getting some. Everybody gets to go to Saudi. Everybody gets the Saudi bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's probably the most women that's ever went to Saudi Arabia that they've ever had. Um, so shout out to from the start of this show. Remember, we protested. Niggas had to wear 2XTs and and wrestle in Saudi Arabia, and we were just clapping because of that. You know what I'm saying? Natalia versus Lacey Evans in 2X shirts. And now they have full gear. There's at least 10 of them, 20 of them coming in SmackDown, coming to the show. It's a good look. I'm still on the Jade. I don't think they have any immediate plans. And I also think the holidays are here. And so I think they're just keeping on Jade and Bianca. That's really what I think.
Do you think Jade's unhappy? A lot of people are like, she's unhappy. She's ready to come back. She regrets leaving AEW. Do you
I
think
will,
that
I will never speak for Jade being unhappy in WWE because I go to her Instagram and she living La Vida Loca on that bitch, man. She got pictures every week. She be with people. Here's the biggest indicator of are you happy in your company. Let me tell you this on social media. If you ain't got pictures with nobody, you not happy. If you in a locker room by yourself, private locker room by yourself, taking pictures with your dog. I don't know what to say, bro. Jade, she's integrated in the system. It seemed like the people, like her. She's out here taking pictures. She's out here enjoying herself. She's in social media videos. She's doing this. She's doing that. Could it be more? Yes. Will it be more in the future? Absolutely, yes. I think people need to just chill. This is going long. Don't get me wrong. It's probably longer than anyone thought it would be. Um, but it's clearly getting her acclimated to the WWE system, to a bevy of opponents that she will face in the future when she's a single talent. And it's just, where this is going, where she gonna end up. So stop trying
yeah,
to force this thing on her. She
yeah,
gonna be all right.
yeah. Here's my thing, man. I think people just want there to be a like like discord within WWE and shit. So like when Jade says I miss stepping on people and being that bitch, it means that tweet means nothing
Yeah.
in the larger scheme of things. Like, what does it mean? What do you think that she meant
She
by that?
probably is just like, I wish I was a heel. But realistically, like H is probably like, nah, you will be a heel in the future, but not right now.
Like
Um,
you're gonna do what we're doing right now. Like there's nothing wrong.
yeah, like we told Samantha, you're gonna do what we pay you to do.
But listen, man, I think that they're going to retain as well. But I think this could be a stealth call up for the ladies metaphor. I hope that it is. I hope that
I hope
they.
they do. I hope they do a good damn job. How about that?
Also on the card, LA Knight versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship triple threat match. I'm telling you, I said it earlier in the show. I got a sinking feeling that LA is about to turn. It's going to be heartbreaking for a lot of people to recognize or accept this, but I think that I think it's time for him to turn.
If he loses, maybe. But who do I think is gonna win? I think
I'm gonna be real. I think Andrade should win. I think LA in ring wise and even out of the ring wise has really done nothing for the title. To be
I
honest
think
with you,
Carmelo should win.
that's cool
I don't
too.
know.
I is anyone but LA Knight is cool. I'm not gonna argue against Carmelo either. I think he's I mean he's having the best matches on the show every single week. So
I just don't know where LA would go after this. You know what I'm saying? That's really kind of it. Like, I don't know where he would go after this. I think Melo and Hate and Andrade have done a great job, and if one of them wins the title, it would be an even better thing. But I just don't know where he goes after this, just right now, because there aren't really any other contenders.
take a break, nigga.
I mean, he could
I
make some.
show I show old ass knees.
Well, there you go.
Take a fucking break. I think it'll be Andrade though. I think he deserves it. I think they've been waiting, and I've been waiting. After this, Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton in a regular ass match. I think KO's gonna win, but I think this match has
I
very
agree.
big. I think this match has very big implications for the main event. If you are one Kevin Owens, I think this is full heel turn for him. Come Crown Jewel, I think Randy Orton will be used as the guinea pig for it, or not the guinea pig, but the sacrificial lamb for it, rather.
Mm, I agree.
I
Some
think.
nefarious that leads to the end.
I mean, powerbomb on the apron spot for Randy's bad back. They keep talking about the bad back. KO has that
And then
move.
send them out. Just like, you know what, nigga? Take off
Yeah,
the holidays, baby.
and then come Mania time, Cody. I did all of this to protect you. I lost my friends to protect you, and you let me get powerbomb like a hoe. I think it's easy. It's elementary in a lot of ways.
If KO get inserted into that world title match at WrestleMania, Randy may not have to turn heel.
That is true as well. That's true as well. But then you risk two WrestleManias with Randy and KO in the same orbit, and I don't know if they will do that.
I mean, they friends. You know, WWE all about friendships and shit like that. Like,
It's AEW. That's wrong show, partner.
okay.
Wrong show, partner. It's all about friends. It's all about your friends. What about your friends? Are you gonna be a friend? No?
Fucking
Alright.
hell.
Alright. I got Kevin Owens winning this.
I got
Uh
KO winning too.
Next up, Seth freaking Rollins versus Bronson Reed. Grudge match between these two.
It's definitely
Uh
Seth.
yeah, it's definitely Seth here. Unpopular opinion, I don't think Bronson should be a heel anymore, bro. I think that he should. I think people want to cheer the tsunami, and I think you should let them do that, right? Like you should let them cheer the tsunami.
I think the finish can be over, but I also think that the brand may need a heel. I think he's cool as a face. Don't get me wrong. He can be a face, but I think we still need that big kind of like lumbering heel go up
If
against. What's up?
if your idea is that someone has to turn for Punk come Mania time, Seth is probably the best person to do that, in my
Sure.
opinion. That's why I'm saying that. Like, Seth is probably the best person that you kind of turn heel at this point to go forward with that match.
I don't know. I feel like we got something with the heel thing, and I don't
I
really
agree.
want to throw it out. Like you could do him versus, I guess, Otis or uh, a couple of people. If Ilya was there, you probably could have done him versus Ilya. You could do. I think there's still meat on the bone with heel Bronson. So I think we should keep him as a heel for right now, even if he is jobbing, because definitely gonna be jobbing at in this match for sure. Um, but I don't know. End of the day, Seth is winning. You know, got to look strong. He's on the comeback. Hopefully his knees work right now. Uh,
They're doing another injury angle with him as of
we've been doing injury angles for him for a year. We get
that's
it,
what I'm saying.
nigga.
It's like
Nigga hurt.
how long are we doing this hurt angle? But
My dog Joel Embiid to the game, bro.
I feel like Seth is very close to turning again, but I also feel like he's also very close to probably winning the title again too.
Once this war game shit is over, he might slap Jey Uso in the face.
Yeah, I mean, he not feeling him
Yeah,
shit, at all.
I ain't fucking that nigga,
He
man.
not feeling him. A lot of niggas ain't feeling Cody right now. I think Cody might need to watch his back, bro. A lot of niggas ain't feeling him right now. Let's get to the Crown Jewel Championship matches. We have not seen the women's version of this, eh? Or is it the same thing?
Nah, not at all. It must be in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Is it pink? Like what is it? Like
Bitch, we only had enough money to pay for one. You will hold it up and then bring it to the back, and then we will bring it back out again.
yeah.
Um,
They treat it like the Stanley Cup. But the first matchup, Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax for the inaugural Women's Crown Jewel Championship. I think this is
wow.
going to be
They
fun.
say inaugural, but it's not like they could hold the championship.
It
I don't
could.
know. I guess you're the first one. Yeah, I guess you're the first one.
It could. I think the optics of the Liv Nia match is going to be funny because of there being two heels, but who is hated more? I would say right now it's probably Liv. So that would be that's going to be an interesting dichotomy to see how Liv and Nia interact here. But I also thought that Liv and Nia had one of the best women's matches on the Raw brand this year, earlier this year.
I forgot all about that shit. I was like, have we ever faced each other?
Yeah, earlier this year was really good too.
Could be dope. Could be dope. Do you think Tiffany will get involved in this match? I mean, this will be a
Yes,
prime opportunity.
almost assuredly,
You
Tiffany will
wouldn't.
get involved.
Would she cash in on the Crown Jewel Championship? It would be kind of strange though. I mean, this match isn't for the championship technically, any of their championships,
but
but
she can still cash in.
realistically, she could cash in and win one of these championships. This would be the best opportunity. And then she would have to choose whether she's going to go to Live or she's going to, cash in on Naya.
It depends on if you want this show to have a big moment on a show that already is going to have the bloodline reunite and Kevin Owens do his thing and then all this other stuff. Like there's a lot of big implications for this show, but there's also meat on the bone for Survivor Series in 3 weeks too, or 3 or 4 weeks too. So
I,
like
I
it
think so
depends.
as well. I mean, Nia Jax has already said things. She's like, we got Candace now. Candace, someone who does the job. Tiffany might be like, man, F this. I'm winning the SmackDown Championship and do her thing. So you never know. She could be. I think there's a huge possibility Tiffany walks out of this SmackDown Women's Champion, and potentially Liv walks out the Women's Crown Jewel Champion. So I'm choosing Liv.
I'm going to choose Liv too because you already gave Nia a Queen of the Ring.
Yeah,
and,
essentially. I mean, she might
and,
be. She might be. It might be Saudi gang for her, bro. Like
yeah,
that
nah.
might be where she do her best work.
Nah, you giving her too much at that point, nigga. She ain't took she took like one L in the last 3 months, and that was to Naomi, and they still ain't paid that shit off yet. Like
Sure the fuck not.
Naomi is owed a title shot, and they haven't gotten to that yet. So let's get to that first before we can even say that Nia needs to have the all of these fucking accolades this year, even though she's been improved. I will say, but I think again, I don't think Tiffany has gotten enough sympathy on her side, in my opinion. But to that point, I think it's very hard to get that on her because she's not. very compelling as a character outside of being a heel. So I'm like, I don't know how she's gonna work as a babyface at this point.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't really know either. Kind of tough to
Like,
say.
yeah, like I have no clue how they make that whole thing work. Yeah, I don't know. It's again, other than her like taking mad pins and stuff like that, like or cutting a babyface. Can she cut a babyface promo? Like we've seen her cut long promos. They weren't very good.
Nah, not really. But
They're not
it's
very good.
yeah, they're not. But uh
That's why I'm not sold on the cash in right now. I'm
I
not
mean,
sold
she
on the
gonna have to
cash.
do it eventually. We got to get this out the way eventually. Get it out the way before Charlotte shows up. Charlotte ain't getting cashed in on. She's like, I did that shit once. Fuck that. Uh, so you kind of got to get this briefcase out of the way before Mania. Because when you set up Mania, I low key think Triple H hates this fucking briefcase. Um, but he knows he has to do it. But I think he low key hates it. But I think Tiffy going into the fall, she wins the SmackDown Women's Championship, feuds with Nia over the next couple months, um, eventually leads to Charlotte's return, and we get something in the future.
I'm just not too sure that they're not going to do Bianca Charlotte.
I'm at this point, there's nothing that is indicating to me that they do Bianca Charlotte. I mean, they could.
We are 6 months out almost,
This
or
is
5 months out.
true. But
There's time to do a lot of things.
yeah, but I don't see the Jade and Bianca losing the tag team titles immediately. I do see them wanting to invest in Tiffy time so much. Um, I don't know.
That,
I'm
that's
just
you.
not seeing it.
That's you thinking that like Charlotte needs to have the title when she comes back. Like
I
that.
don't
That
think she needs to have the title, but she's gonna want to be an important thing. She's been out for a year. She's like, nah, it's time to go. We back up, you know,
I
like
don't think Charlotte coming back to the Rumble anyway.
because she missed last WrestleMania, so it's like she missed 40, so she gonna come back at 41, being like, yo, you know what time it is.
Bro, if she wins another one, like she breaks like that record. I think. I don't think they want to have that just happen out of nowhere.
I mean, Tiffy's, but there's only so many times Charlotte will lose at
I
WrestleMania.
I would not give Tiffy that win or loss over Bianca right now or Rhea. I would not. I wouldn't do that over them right now. I don't think Tiffany is over them. I get what you're saying
She's
about.
not,
I
but
get what you're saying about investing in her. I absolutely agree.
mhm.
I do not see them putting those two women over her at current time. She's still just Nia second at the end of
Yeah,
the day.
for now though, like for now, it's to me. I see them investing into. I see the investment in Tiffany for right now. Um, that makes it hard for me to think that they just pull Jade Bianca out of this program and just leave Jade hanging. That's really the main thing for me. But who knows?
Jade ain't
We
gonna be
still got
hanging.
time.
Jake could get Nia. Jake could get Nia. I think the Royal Rumble will tell us what's going on more than this match will right now. More than whatever's going on. More than even her cashing in before then. I think Royal Rumble will tell us everything we need to know. Because it's gonna come down to whatever brand wins that match.
Right.
And I think your shoe-ins right now are Charlotte. If Becky comes back, it's Becky. And I think your other top one would be Bailey or Io or somebody.
If Charlotte wins the Rumble and is on the road to face Bianca, that means Bianca would have to win the women's championship in the next like 3 months or so. Um,
But that's assuming that Charlotte gets a title match in that
right.
sense. Which I mean I don't know what they think, but I don't think she needs it right now. Like she doesn't need to lose it either, though, for sure. I don't know. I don't know. It's very curious what they're doing right now in the WWE. It's very curious time for the WWE for sure. But I'm rolling with Liv for this one? Are you rolling with Liv?
I'm rolling with Liv.
All right, last up, Gunther versus Cody Rhodes for the inaugural Crown Jewel Championship for the men. They've been hyping this up a lot. I love their promo on SmackDown last week. I thought it was extremely effective to build the enormity of this match, and I'm glad that they finally got physical. Like they've been doing too much respect stuff. What say you, Meelz? Like who needs this more? I think these are the two most protected guys on either brand in the company right now, next to like Roman Reigns or The Rock. Do you have Cody take his third pinfall of the year, or do you have Gunther take his second of the year? Like it's really just a battle of who's about to have the longest streak this year.
Hmm. Cody can take it.
I think Cody will. I think in service of the storyline that he's building with KO, I do think KO will cost him this match. I do think it will be something that leads them to have some sort of like blood feud, and I think they've wanted to do this for a while. Like it feels like this is a story that they wanted to tell for a while since Backlash.
Right.
And I think with Gunther, it only raises his stock because he always wins like little things like this anyway.
Yeah.
Like he always wins shit like this, but it also makes it a big deal for whoever defeats him. And I think coming up for him, there's a large slate of opponents that he has coming up. Meals like Dominic is one, Damian Priest is one. There's a potential of Seth very soon, and then you lead into the Royal Rumble, whoever he faces there as well.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have Cody. Kevin might lead to Cody taking the loss. I don't think it's gonna be a clean loss.
No, not at all.
So, and Kev's already there, and he's already wreaking havoc. So I assume he's gonna help him take the loss. Gunther can have it.
Like, what does it really mean anyway? Like,
Yeah,
he can have that shit.
yeah. Cody don't give a fuck about this.
Yeah, the shit really means nothing. And again, like I think it's important to show that like they're investing in somebody like Gunther. He's a total package, man. I never would have thought 5-6 years ago Gunther would be not only great in ring, we knew that already, but just the
Right.
small stuff, the character stuff that he's knocking out the park every single week in these promos. He's getting everything down.
He's doing what he do, man. Like this is. I never thought I would see it. This is Walter, by the way.
Yeah. Poor Walter, right?
Right.
Listen, Keith Lee, stay off Twitter this weekend, brother.
Nah, I mean, I'm over. We get it. Yeah, I don't care about he down, bro. But you said
Uh,
some weird shit, bro.
Stay off of Twitter, brother. But listen, that's it for Crown Jewel and our predictions. Great show, great first show back in a week. Very fresh. We almost gave you guys 2 hours today. Oh my god,
There's a lot going down,
a lot going
and
on.
there'll be a lot going down next week on the show. We review, I guess, Crown Jewel, which is gonna happen this Saturday. It's an early morning show, so
Yeah, well, it's late afternoon for us. It's 1 p.m. here. So
yeah.
it's 1
Oh,
p.m.
is it? No, it's 4. It's not 4 p.m. It's 1 p.m. here.
Oh, it's 10 a.m. here. Oh, you bitch.
Yeah, wake your ass up.
The hell. Anyway, we'll be predicting all the good, the bad, the ugly, and the in between next week on the A Show. So for Meals, I am Justin. Thank you guys for listening. And next week we'll talk about everything as we head to we head on the road towards Survivor Series in Canada. So see you guys later. Peace.